Let's go next to our caller from the 570 area code. Who's calling today from 570?
Hey, David, is that me?
Yes, it is.
Hey, what's going on? This is Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah, so I watched your video either it was yesterday or a couple days ago about Bernie Sanders' new proposal in terms of campaign finance reform.
Right.
Now, obviously, I'm super for this. I'm pretty sure a large majority, I think they polled at one time about 90% of Americans are for some sort of campaign finance reform and just overall finance reform in general for politics. So it always interests me that these things never get passed. I think Bernie's proposal is potentially super effective if it's implemented, even some parts of it. I wanted to ask you, what do you think some of the issues at hand, not being able to pass with such a large majority in public opinion, especially you talk about things like gun control, having such a large majority about things like universal background checks wanting to be passed, but at the end of the day, I think this might even be more important and lead to other changes. So what do you think are some of the big obstacles standing in the way of it being
Well,
passed?
the biggest obstacle is that it's hard to get people who are in power because of the system we have to change the system. That's like fundamentally the obstacle. So as you're pointing out, I don't know the
Mhm.
poll you're talking about, but it wouldn't surprise me that 90% of the country wants at least some kind of campaign finance reform. Those aren't the people who are in positions of power because of the system, right? Someone who works in the local bricklayers union or whatever that wants campaign finance reform, they didn't get their job the way that a senator did because of the system of campaign finance that we have. And so the senator is not going to want to change that system. So number one is we need to start electing at every level of government people who are committed to doing campaign finance reform. But there's also logistical obstacles. So like, for example, one of the tenets, one of the ideas of Bernie's campaign finance reform, money out of politics plan is you start doing public financing of elections. You're not going to be able to even make any headway on that for as long as the prevailing law of the land is that money is speech, right? So then you now have to link that provision to can we overturn or somehow undo Citizens United? And so the real obstacle is that a lot of, Bernie laid out enough different proposals that some could be handled legislatively, some could maybe be done by executive order. But there is stuff in there that, listen, for as long as money is speech, it's going to be very difficult to do a lot of those things. And so the obstacles are systemic and they are big, but they are worth tackling for sure, as it sounds like you agree with.
Yeah, that's true. I totally agree with that point. And of course, the Citizens United case, I feel like I agree with you on that. That has to be overturned for any headway to be made on there. Additionally, on top of that, do you think, if Bernie is elected, a lot of those initiatives will get pushed initially through executive order, or you think there'll be maybe some bipartisan support in the House and Senate to
I don't know the
push
answer to that.
forward with it?
I would really have to look at the list because not everything is even potentially doable by executive order. So I would need to really look at the list first to even see what is conceivably doable by executive order. I don't have the answer for you right now.
All right, great. Yeah, thanks for taking my call then.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hope to hear from you again. That was Nick. Great to hear from Nick.